There comes a moment on your path when you realize reality isn't something happening to you. It's something happening through you. The life you're living right now isn't random. It's a mirror, perfectly reflecting the frequency of your current identity. Not your dreams, not your affirmations, but who you're actually being in this moment. Most people spend their lives trying to do more, get more, fix more without realizing that the universe responds to who you are, not what you chase. This is the quantum law of being. Once you understand it, everything changes. Because the field doesn't wait for you to achieve, it waits for you to align. If you're stuck in the same loops, it's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because you're still vibrating as the version of you that created the loop. And the quantum field is listening, always. Today, you're going to learn the truth most people never hear. Reality shifts when you shift. The leap isn't external, it's energetic. And the universe is already waiting for the signal that says, I'm ready. The quantum law of being explained. The quantum law of being is simple, yet life-changing. Reality is not responding to what you do, it's responding to who you are. Most people try to change their lives by working harder, pushing more, or setting endless goals. But quantum reality doesn't shift because of effort. It shifts because of energy alignment. Your personal frequency is the code the universe listens to. At the quantum level, everything is vibration. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs create a signature frequency that communicates with the field of infinite potential. This field doesn't care about your words, it responds to your state of being. If you say you want abundance but feel lack, the field mirrors back lack. If you embody abundance emotionally, the field responds with opportunities that match. This is why people get stuck manifesting from desperation. The universe cannot give you what you're not aligned with. If you chase a new reality while still vibrating with the identity of your old self, the shift cannot happen. The quantum law of being teaches that alignment is not about acting differently, it's about becoming different on the inside first. Most of the time, people focus on doing instead of being. They ask, what should I do to get what I want? But the deeper question is, who do I need to become to naturally receive what I desire? Your actions are important, but they're only magnetic when they come from a place of energetic alignment, not fear or force. The quantum field holds infinite versions of your life, each one based on a different vibrational frequency. When you shift your inner state, you don't just feel different, you collapse different possibilities into your experience. That's how quantum shifting works. It's not about forcing the world to change, it's about stepping into the version of you that already lives in the desired reality. Your identity creates your frequency, and your frequency shapes your experience. If you identify as someone stuck, small, or unworthy, the universe mirrors back situations that reinforce that state. But when you shift your self-concept to match expansion, growth, and trust, the external world begins to realign to support that vibration. The quantum law of being teaches you that consciousness creates collapse. In the quantum world, possibilities exist in superposition until you observe and embody one. Your focus, belief, and energetic signature decide which reality becomes solid. This is why transformation begins inside, not outside. Reality forms around the being, not the doing. Most people live in a loop because they keep trying to change circumstances without changing self. They try to fix the mirror instead of shifting the reflection. But the quantum law of being says, when you change your internal frequency, life cannot help but change to match it. The universe is a mirror, not a vending machine. This is not about pretending or faking positivity. The quantum field doesn't respond to surface-level affirmations, it responds to your true state of consciousness. If you're secretly afraid, no amount of verbal affirmations will override that energy. You must shift at the core of your nervous system, your mindset, your emotional baseline. Alignment is the new action. When you become the version of you that has already received, you no longer need to chase. The chasing stops because you've tuned into the timeline where the receiving is natural. That's the quantum leap, not a physical jump, but an energetic shift in identity and embodiment. Mastering the quantum law of being means learning to live from the inside out. It's about regulating your inner world, cultivating coherence between heart and mind, and living in emotional alignment with the reality you want to experience. It's about becoming the cause of your reality, not just the observer of it. Once you truly understand this, life begins to shift effortlessly. It doesn't mean there's no action, but action becomes inspired, not forced. You move when it feels right, not because of panic or pressure. And the universe moves with you, adjusting the outer world to reflect your new state of being. That's the quantum way. You don't attract, you align. Most people believe manifestation is about attraction, as if life is outside of you and needs to be pulled toward you. But in truth, you don't attract things into your life. You align with them. Everything you desire already exists in the quantum field. The question isn't how to get it, it's how to match it. The shift happens when you stop chasing and start embodying the frequency of what you seek. Alignment means tuning your internal state to the reality you wish to experience. If you want love, you must embody love. If you want peace, you must become peace. The universe isn't withholding anything from you. It's waiting for you to align your vibration with the version of you that already lives in that experience. It's not about force, it's about frequency. When you think of yourself as a magnet, it's easy to misunderstand the process. Magnets don't beg or chase, they simply resonate at a frequency that pulls matching elements into their field. Similarly, your consciousness sends out a signal through your emotions, beliefs, and focus. That signal determines what becomes real in your life, not your words or wishes. Trying to attract something from a place of lack keeps you stuck. If you say, "I want abundance," but feel scarcity in your body, you're aligned with lack, not wealth. The universe responds to the truth of your state, not the surface of your statements. That's why alignment is more powerful than attraction. It bypasses ego and taps into energy. Alignment is an internal calibration. It's about shifting from, "I hope it happens," to, "I'm already living it energetically." This isn't delusion, it's preparation. You create the inner atmosphere first. You become the kind of person who naturally holds the reality you desire, not the person who waits for it to arrive before feeling whole. You don't chase love, you align with love. You don't pursue happiness, you align with happiness. The moment you stop making your desires something distant, you start tuning into them as present states. This is why people who are relaxed, confident, and at peace often seem to attract more. They're not forcing outcomes, they're aligning with possibilities. Alignment means being emotionally congruent with what you want. If you want freedom, but you live in anxiety, there's a gap. That gap is not punishment, it's feedback. It tells you where your work is, not outside, but inside. The universe is not testing you, it's mirroring you. Your emotional baseline becomes your energetic broadcast. This is why manifestation feels effortless for some and impossible for others. It's not about luck, it's about alignment. Those who receive with ease have learned to align their beliefs, emotions, and actions with the energy of what they seek. They've let go of inner resistance. They've stopped sending mixed signals to the field. Alignment is also about letting go of attachment. When you're desperate for something to happen, you're telling the universe, "I don't have it." That's not alignment, that's resistance. But when you live as if it's already yours, you release the energetic tension that blocks flow. The universe responds to your ease, not your effort. You don't need to manipulate reality, you need to match it. The version of you who has the life you desire already exists in a parallel frequency. Your job is to tune into that version, emotionally and energetically. When you align with that self, you naturally begin to make choices, think thoughts, and feel feelings that match the new timeline. Alignment is subtle but powerful. It's not about grand gestures, it's about consistent vibration. The thoughts you think when you're alone, the emotions you cultivate in stillness, the state you maintain when no one is watching. These are the real signals the universe listens to, and they are what determine your reality shift. In the end, you realize you're not attracting anything from the outside world. You're collapsing possibilities into your experience based on the state of your being. Alignment is the key to that collapse. When you embody the version of you who already has it, life reorganizes itself to reflect that truth. That's not magic, it's quantum resonance. Why shifting identity changes everything. Your identity is the blueprint of your reality. It's not just how you see yourself, it's the energetic signal you send to the universe every second. The reason most people stay stuck isn't because they lack desire. It's because they haven't shifted who they believe they are. Reality can't upgrade if you're still broadcasting the same inner self-image. Change starts with identity, not circumstance. When you shift your identity, your entire energetic field changes. Your thoughts adjust, your emotions recalibrate, and your behaviors naturally realign. You no longer have to force new habits, they become expressions of your new self. This is why surface-level action without identity change never sticks. Your outer life always returns to the baseline of who you believe yourself to be. Most people try to change their reality without changing their story. They try to achieve new results while dragging along the same narrative of limitation. But your identity writes the script of your life. If you see yourself as powerless, even success will feel like an accident. If you see yourself as worthy, opportunities will feel like confirmation, not luck. Quantum shifting happens when you stop identifying with the old self and start embodying the new one. This isn't about pretending, it's about becoming. The shift is internal first. You wake up and say, "I'm no longer the version of me who struggles with this." And from that decision, new choices emerge, not because you're trying harder, but because you're living differently. Every thought you think either reinforces the old identity or helps build the new one. When you shift identity, you change the filter through which you experience life. The same situations appear, but you respond from a different level of consciousness. Your triggers lessen, your reactions soften, and your perception widens. This creates new outcomes automatically. Shifting identity is not about fixing yourself. It's about revealing the truer version of you, the version beneath the conditioning, the trauma, and the societal programming. Awakening is not adding more layers, it's peeling them away. When you shift into your authentic self, life begins to respond with clarity and alignment, instead of confusion and resistance. Your identity determines what you believe is possible. If you still carry the identity of someone who struggles, you'll subconsciously sabotage growth. But when you shift to the identity of someone who flows, creates, and trusts, your nervous system adapts. The mind follows the body, and the body follows belief. This creates momentum without force. Reality mirrors your dominant identity, not your occasional thoughts. You may affirm abundance, but if you identify as broke or small, the universe reflects that state back to you. This is why lasting change requires a shift at the core, not just in action, but in who you think you are. Becoming the new self is not optional if you want a new life. Shifting identity changes how you handle failure. The old self might collapse at setbacks, but the new self sees them as recalibration. You stop personalizing obstacles and start learning from them. This shifts your emotional frequency from fear to curiosity, from victimhood to empowerment. That energy shift is what creates new realities. The people around you will feel this shift. Some may resist it because your new identity no longer matches their expectations. That's normal. Growth requires shedding attachments that are tied to old versions of you. As your identity upgrades, your circle will evolve. The universe will introduce new relationships that match your new vibration. Your identity is not fixed, it's fluid. You are not locked into the person you've been. Every moment offers the chance to choose again, to say, "This is who I am now." And from that decision, reality reorganizes. Your subconscious mind rewires, your nervous system recalibrates, and the quantum field responds. Identity is the access point for all change. When you shift identity, you stop chasing transformation, you become it. The outer world adjusts to match your new frequency because you're no longer asking for permission to change. You're living the change. And the universe mirrors back what you embody, not what you wish for. This is why shifting identity changes everything. It turns manifestation into inevitability. Reality mirrors your state of being. Reality is not something separate from you, it's a reflection of you. Your outer world mirrors your inner state of being. This is why two people can live in the same environment but experience completely different realities. It's not about circumstance, it's about consciousness. The thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, and the identity you embody create the lens through which reality forms. When you operate from fear, you begin to notice more reasons to be afraid. When you live in gratitude, you find more things to appreciate. The universe reflects your dominant emotional frequency back to you, not as a punishment or reward, but as resonance. Like energy attracts like energy. This is the foundational truth of the quantum field. Your state of being sends out a signal, and the field responds. This is not Magicit's vibrational law. Life organizes itself around the energy you embody most consistently. If you radiate scarcity, opportunities seem to disappear. If you radiate wholeness, synchronicities seem to multiply. The mirror doesn't change, first you do. Most people try to fix life from the outside. They chase new jobs, new relationships, new locations. But without changing their inner state, the same patterns repeat. Reality is not the problem, the reflection is. To change the reflection, you have to shift what's happening behind the mirror. That means transforming the way you feel, think, and show up energetically. When you carry unresolved pain, life brings you situations that trigger healing. When you carry unresolved beliefs, life reflects situations that validate them. It's not because the universe is cruel, it's because it's neutral. The mirror doesn't judge. It simply reflects the image placed before it. Your state of being is the image, and life responds in kind. Your emotional baseline is the script your reality follows. If you wake up every day expecting stress, your brain filters for stressful events. If you wake up expecting flow, your mind filters for ease. This is not delusion, it's energetic pattern recognition. The quantum field aligns with what you consistently believe, not what you occasionally wish for. Presence is the fastest way to reset the mirror. When you drop into now, you stop projecting fear from the past or anxiety about the future. In presence, your state becomes calm, clear, and magnetic. Life mirrors that back through moments of peace, clarity, and synchronicity. The more you practice presence, the more you shift your reflection. Your relationships also mirror your state of being. If you don't love yourself, you attract connections that reflect self-abandonment. If you carry worthiness, you attract respect. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. You are co-creating your interactions through the energy you bring to the table. The mirror of reality responds accordingly. Money, health, love, and purpose there, all reflections of inner alignment. If you believe life is hard, you experience hardship. If you believe life is supportive, you find evidence of that too. The field doesn't choose for you, it responds to your default signal. Your job is not to manipulate reality, but to align with the version of you that attracts what you desire. When you shift your state, reality can't help but shift with you. This is why deep internal work creates external results. Meditation, breathwork, mindset shifts, they aren't just spiritual practices, they are quantum tools. They help you change your vibration, which naturally changes your reflection. The work is within, but the results appear without. You don't have to force reality to change. Forcing is resistance. Alignment is flow. When you align your state of being with peace, abundance, and love, the universe adjusts to match. Life meets you at your level of consciousness, and when your frequency rises, new doors open that weren't visible before. They were always there, you just weren't tuned in. This is the secret most people miss. Reality isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. It's a living mirror, reflecting the movie playing in your mind and the frequency pulsing in your heart. Change the script inside, and the projection outside will shift. Not because life suddenly improved, but because you did. The collapse of possibility into experience. In the quantum field, every possible version of your life already exists. There are infinite timelines, each holding a different reality based on different choices, energies, and beliefs. This is called superposition, the state of all possibilities existing simultaneously. But you don't live in all of them at once. You experience one version of reality, and that version depends on your alignment. The collapse of possibility into experience happens when observation meets embodiment. The moment you focus on a specific reality and feel it as real, the field responds by shifting your timeline. This is how potential becomes personal reality. The universe doesn't randomly assign outcome, it reflects the frequency you consistently hold. Most people don't realize how much power they have in this process. They unconsciously collapse timelines based on fear, doubt, or limitation. Without realizing it, they keep choosing versions of life that match their unhealed patterns. But the quantum field is neutral, it's not judging you. It simply reflects your dominant vibration into form. When you change your energy, you begin collapsing different possibilities. This is why inner work is so important. Meditation, visualization, emotional regulation, they're not just self-care practices. They're tools for timeline selection. They help you choose which version of reality becomes your lived experience. The act of observing reality through a new lens is what starts the collapse. If you decide, I am abundant now, and you feel that truth in your body, you start signaling the field to collapse into the version of you that lives in abundance. It's not about hoping, it's about embodying. The universe responds to embodiment, not wishing. Collapsing possibilities into experience isn't about forcing the outcome, it's about tuning to it. You don't chase the new timeline, you align with it. And when you do, the old possibilities fade into the background while the new version of reality crystallizes into form. What once was a thought becomes a fact. Quantum physicists describe this as the observer effect. The act of observation influences the outcome, but it's not just about seeing, it's about being. When you observe yourself as the new version of you and emotionally embody that reality, you collapse the infinite potentials into one focused stream of experience. This is why clarity is so powerful. When you are clear about who you are and what you stand for, you stop entertaining conflicting timelines. Confusion keeps possibilities scattered. Alignment focuses them. The clearer you are, the faster the collapse happens, because the field responds to certainty, not chaos. Your life is not stuck because of fatates, stuck because of repeated observation of the same pattern. When you keep replaying old stories, you keep collapsing the same timelines. The way out is to shift the story, to consciously choose a new narrative, and hold that vibration long enough for the field to respond. Patience is part of the process. Sometimes the quantum collapse is instant, but often it takes time for the physical world to catch up with the energetic shift. The field responds immediately, but the material world moves in sequences. Trust the process. Reality is reorganizing, even when you can't see it yet. Collapsing possibility into experience also means letting go of old attachments. You cannot live in the new timeline while clinging to the emotions of the past. Release resentment. Forgive. Let go of fear. These are not moral lessons, they're quantum instructions. The lighter your energy, the smoother the collapse into your desired reality. Many people get stuck because they try to control the how, but the field handles the how. Your job is the who. Who are you becoming? What energy are you living in right now? These are the real questions. The universe doesn't need you to micromanage the details. It needs you to align with the state of already having received. Visualization is a tool for initiating the collapse, but feeling is the activator. If you visualize something without emotional alignment, it stays as potential. But when you feel it as real, the signal becomes strong enough to shift the field. This is why heart and mind coherence is crucial in quantum work. They must align. The collapse of possibility into experience is not a one-time event, it's happening constantly. Every moment, you are broadcasting a signal, and the universe is responding. This is not about creating reality from scratch, it's about selecting from what already exists in the field. The version of you that has already shifted is waiting for your signal. When you understand this, life stops being random. You realize that reality isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. And the faster you align your thoughts, emotions, and identity with the life you desire, the faster the quantum collapse happens. Possibility becomes experience the moment you decide to live as if it's already yours. Stop performing. Start embodying. Most people are stuck in performance mode. They act as if life is a stage where they must constantly prove, achieve, or present a version of themselves to gain approval. This creates tension, burnout, and disconnection from their true nature. The universe, however, doesn't respond to performance, responds to embodiment. Being, not acting, is what shifts reality. When you perform, you are chasing validation. You're trying to control how you are perceived, hoping that by showing up a certain way, the world will reward you. But performance is rooted in fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of being rejected. Fear of not fitting in. Embodiment comes from truth. It's living as your authentic self without seeking external permission. Embodiment is alignment between your inner world and your outer actions. It means you're not putting on a mask or playing a role. You're fully present, fully honest, and fully integrated. The energy you carry in private matches the energy you show in public. There's no split between who you are and who you pretend to be. This is where true power begins. Performing is exhausting because it requires constant maintenance. You have to remember the script, adjust to the audience, and fear being exposed as a fraud. Embodying is effortless because it's natural. You're not forcing anything. You're simply being who you already are at your core. That ease is what makes life start flowing. The quantum field responds to coherence, not performance. If your words say one thing but your energy says another, the universe listens to your energy. Embodiment creates coherence, mind, body, and spirit in harmony. When you embody your desired state, you're no longer asking for the new reality you're living it now. Most people think change happens through doing more, but real change happens through becoming more aligned. Embodiment means stepping into the version of you who already holds the vibration of the life you desire. It's not about pretending, it's about becoming. When you embody abundance, peace, or love, those experiences naturally show up in your reality. Performers need constant applause to feel worthy. Embodied beings don't. They find their worth in presence, not performance. They don't seek approval because they already feel whole. This internal shift is magnetic. People feel the difference between someone who's performing and someone who's simply radiating truth. When you perform, you try to control perception. When you embody, you trust resonance. The right people, opportunities, and experiences naturally align with your vibration. You no longer need to manipulate outcomes because life mirrors your authenticity. This creates a sense of calm confidence that cannot be faked. Embodiment is about consistency, not perfection. You won't always get it right, but the practice is to keep returning to alignment. To catch yourself when you slip into performance mode and gently guide yourself back to presence. The more you do this, the easier it becomes to live from your true self without effort. Performing comes from the ego. Embodying comes from the soul. The ego wants to look good, win, and be right. The soul wants to express, serve, and expand. When you shift from ego performance to soul embodiment, you stop competing with others and start collaborating with the universe. Life becomes partnership, not struggle. Many people say they want change, but they're still performing for their old life. They keep showing up as the same version of themselves, afraid to let go of the familiar script. Embodiment requires courage. It asks you to shed the identity that no longer fits and step into the unknown. But on the other side is freedom. True embodiment creates peace because there's nothing to prove. You wake up each day knowing you're enough, not because you've achieved something, but because you exist in alignment. This peace attracts experiences that match it, relationships, work, and opportunities that reflect your inner calm rather than your outer hustle. Performing drains your nervous system. You're constantly in hyper-awareness, scanning for reactions and adjusting your behavior. Embodiment soothes your system because you're living in truth. There's no need to monitor every move. You can relax into being, knowing you are safe to exist without performance. In the world of manifestation, many people fail because they're performing worthiness instead of embodying it. They say affirmations but feel unworthy inside. The universe doesn't respond to the words, it responds to the state. Embodiment bridges the gap between thought and reality. It turns ideas into lived experience. Embodiment is about integration. It's not enough to understand concepts intellectually. You have to live them. Knowledge becomes wisdom when it's embodied. You stop talking about change and start becoming the change. This is where transformation becomes permanent, not just temporary motivation. The world teaches performance early. From childhood, you learn to act a certain way to be loved, but spiritual awakening invites you to unlearn that pattern. It asks you to return to your authentic state, where love is not earned through performance but received through presence. This is not regression, it's evolution. When you stop performing, You start listening to your body, your intuition, and the subtle signals life sends. Embodiment creates space for inner guidance to lead the way. You no longer need external validation, because you're tuned into a deeper frequency of knowing. Life becomes quieter but more powerful. Embodying your truth sometimes means letting go of people who only like the performer version of you. That's part of the process. Not everyone will celebrate your alignment because it forces them to face their own masks. But the right people will find you when you're living from your real frequency. The practice of embodiment is moment to moment. It's a daily decision to drop the act and return to authenticity. Sometimes you'll catch yourself slipping back into performance, and that's okay. Awareness is the first step. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to live from your true state. In the end, life isn't asking you to perform for success. It's asking you to embody your essence. When you do, the universe responds in kind. Doors open, relationships deepen, opportunities align, not because you forced them, but because you became the version of you who naturally attracts them. That is the real shift. Becoming the new you is the shift. The real transformation doesn't happen when something around you changes. It happens when you become someone new inside. This is the essence of quantum shifting. Reality rearranges itself the moment your identity changes. You don't wait for the world to show up differently. You show up differently, and the world mirrors that. Becoming the new you isn't a performance. It's a deep recalibration. It's about embodying a version of yourself that already exists in the quantum field. That version isn't imaginary, it's already real. It's just waiting for you to tune into it with your thoughts, emotions, and habits. When you do, your current timeline begins to collapse and reconfigure. You can't live a new life with the same old identity. If you keep thinking, feeling, and reacting as your past self, you'll keep repeating the past. Becoming the new you means shifting your energetic signature. It's not about acting different for a few hours, it's about stabilizing a new frequency, long enough for reality to match it. Many people want the outcome without the identity shift. They want the abundance, the peace, the love, but they don't want to become the version of themselves who lives in that energy naturally. But the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you who you are. So the only way to have something new is to become someone new. Becoming the new you means letting go of the familiar self, and that's scary. Your old habits, thoughts, and relationships are comfortable, even if they're painful. But growth requires letting go of what no longer serves you, even when it's all you've known. You don't lose yourself. You meet a deeper version of who you've always been. Every time you think differently, respond differently, or feel differently than your past self, you are wiring the new version of you into existence. These small shifts matter. They send new signals to the brain, the body, and the quantum field. And with repetition, those signals become stable. They become your new baseline. You don't need to become the new you overnight. It's not about instant change, it's about intentional becoming. Each moment is a portal. Each decision is a vote for your future self. You become her, him, or them, one breath, one choice, one aligned step at a time. This is how timelines are built through conscious embodiment. Becoming the new you requires emotional discipline. You'll be tempted to go back to old triggers, old stories, old behaviors. But you must hold the frequency of your future self even when your current circumstances don't validate it. That's what creates the shift. That's what tells the universe, I'm already there. The shift is internal first. You feel the calm before life gets calm. You feel the abundance before the money arrives. You feel the love before the relationship appears. This isn't delusion, it's energetic leadership. You go first, and the field follows. You embody it now, and reality echoes it later. Your nervous system may resist the shift at first. The new you may feel unfamiliar, and unfamiliar can feel unsafe. But the more you stabilize in your new state, the more your body learns that this new energy is home. Safety begins to live in authenticity, not in survival. And from that place, the shift becomes natural. People around you may not understand the change. That's okay. They're still tuned into your old identity. As you embody the new you, some connections will fall away. others will evolve, and new relationships will appear that resonate with who you've become, not who you used to be. The old version of you had limitations that don't apply to the new you. The new you thinks differently, trusts differently, loves differently. You're not faking it, you're evolving. You're not pretending to be someone else, you're remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Becoming the new you means releasing attachment to struggle. So many people hold on to suffering because it gives them identity. But when you let it go, you realize you never needed pain to feel real. You can exist in joy. You can live in ease. These are not luxuries. They're your natural state. The new you holds boundaries with clarity and grace. No longer from defense, but from self-respect. You stop explaining yourself to people who misunderstand you. You stop seeking approval from systems that were never built for your truth. You choose peace over performance. The shift isn't about becoming better. It's about becoming more you. The most aligned, conscious, empowered version of yourself. The one who isn't afraid to be still, to be seen, or to be soft. The one who trusts their intuition over noise, alignment over urgency, presence over pressure. The new you isn't waiting for the perfect moment. They are the moment. They act from alignment, not anxiety. They speak from truth, not trauma. They rest without guilt and create without desperation. This isn't selfish, it's sovereign. This is what real energetic leadership looks like. Becoming the new you means turning your inner world into your compass. You don't ask the world, "Who should I be?" You decide. You listen inward. You align with the timeline that feels the most honest. And from that place, reality begins to organize around you, not because you forced it, but because you became it. This process requires faith. There will be moments where nothing outside reflects your inner shift. You'll feel like you're walking blind. But keep going. That space of uncertainty is where the collapse happens. The old timeline is dissolving, and the new one is building. Your only job is to stay aligned. The new you doesn't need external validation. They trust themselves deeply. They don't chase, they attract. They don't beg, they embody. And because of that, they move with quiet power. This isn't about shouting your transformation to the world, it's about letting your presence speak for itself. In the end, becoming the new you is the shift. It's the portal to the life you've been visualizing. The field isn't waiting for you to do more, it's waiting for you to be different. When you become the new you, reality has no choice but to adjust. Because the mirror only reflects what you're ready to embody. So here's the truth no one teaches. The universe isn't responding to your goals, it's responding to your state. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. Every breath, every thought, every emotional habit is a command to the quantum field. And the field listens not sometimes, but always. If you've been wondering why things feel stuck, why shifts feel delayed, the answer isn't out there. It's within. It's in your frequency. The moment you choose to stop chasing and start embodying, the moment you align your mind, body, and energy with the version of you that has already leaped the field, has no choice but to respond. This isn't magic. It's resonance. It's physics. So let this be your reminder. You don't have to wait for your life to shift. You have to shift first. And when you do, the mirror of reality will reflect back a new world, one you're already aligned with. If this message stirred something in you, leave a comment below. I am shifting now. Because when you say it, when you feel it, when you become it, the field starts collapsing timelines in your favor.